Wrist mobility. So I've shown a lot of people this stuff, but as you get into it, we're gonna hit the wrist from a lot of different angles. So it's gonna be mostly 20 reps of everything, but it's gonna start off with fingers straight forward, and we're just gonna do, I don't even know what to call them. I'm just gonna call them like wrist raises. So from here, I'm gonna leave my fingers flat and raise my wrist and my hand as high up off the ground as I possibly can. My goal is to get my hand vertical behind my knuckles. So I'm trying to reach up as high as I can, stretch out my fingers, okay? That's 1, 2, if you wanna see from the side. From here, I'm turning that elbow pit forward and raising my hands up as high as I can. It's a really small little motion for most people. From there, and we're gonna go after the thumbs. I'm gonna take thumb and index finger and kind of just press that onto the ground, and then I'm gonna press my hand down, palm towards the ground. I'm stretching out that thumb specifically. So it's just 1, 2. It's a really small motion again, okay? One that you can definitely do two like both hands at a time. 3, 4, and I'm just pressing again, my palm towards the mat, palm towards the floor, stretching that hand out. From there, I'm gonna turn outward. Okay, so my fingers are gonna be pointed out, my elbow pits are gonna be pointed straight, and I'm gonna go just side to side. I want my weight over the top of, right between my index finger and middle finger mostly. From this position, so I'm over the top of my hands, and I'm just gonna reach to the side, and then reach to the other side. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. From there, I'm gonna flip my hand all the way around. From this position, my fingers are pointed towards my feet, and I'm just gonna sit back. I'm just leaning away from my hands. The farther out in front of me my hands are, the worse this is gonna be. So if I'm sitting back in here, it's not nearly as intense. So what it looks like from the side, point my fingers towards my feet, sit back, and just stretch out. I'm gonna stretch that entire like bottom of the arm right underneath my wrist, and just reaching my hips back. I'm just leaning back, don't do anything crazy. From there, we go into probably the most sketchy one for most people, which is gonna be the back of the hand. So from here, most people are gonna have a hard time with this one, especially if you have tight wrists. Okay, so I'm gonna take the back of my hand, place it on the ground, and then I'm gonna take the pit of my elbow, and I'm gonna try to turn that sucker forward. Okay, I'm just cranking that up. Okay, again, this one is the farther out in front of me my hand is, the more intense it gets, but I don't wanna sit here in my shoulder. It's not gonna put a lot of pressure onto my wrist. I need to wrap that guy around and then sit back, and then I can pulse from there. Okay, doing one at a time makes this much more like tolerable. You go to the other side, obviously. If you can do it, because it's pretty groovy, is to put both hands on the ground. Make sure that you're like really wrapping those elbow pits forward, sitting back. 1, 2. The movement is very, very small. Most people will just hang out there and just stretch. It sucks. Start one-handed, and then you can move up to 2 hands if you eventually get there. And then the last one is going to be fingers forward, okay? And now I'm just going to reach over the top, my whole body coming over the top of my hands, trying to keep my whole hand on the ground, but I'm trying to get as far into my fingers as I can. Again, elbow pits are wrapped forward, so I'm externally rotating my upper arm. I'm going to reach over the top and stretch. That's 1. Reach over the top and stretch is 2. I'm so far forward that the heel of my hand is very light on the ground. Okay, not really, you know, I'm not getting up and pressing up, but I'm just reaching as far forward as I can so that my hand's like barely fluttering off the ground. And what that looks like on the side, here, and then I just reach forward and stretch there. So, reach forward and stretch. My heel of my hand almost comes off the ground, just stretching out that wrist, fingers, the whole thing all the way down.